This is the 3087 V2 in Morandi Grey made by a company called AKKO. Now I've heard a few things about this company, one that they're Ducky's Chinese sister company, and two that they buy their stock from Ducky. Now I'm not 100% sure on these claims, so don't hold me to them, okay? The 3087 is a TKL keyboard, meaning it's laid out exactly like a full size, just with the numpad chopped off. It has a somewhat muted and retro colorway, it's £65, and this one houses AKKO's pink mechanical switches. Good build quality, nice keycaps, and a clean aesthetic. What isn't there to love about this TKL from AKKO? Well, we're about to find out. Alright guys, now we've switched over to voiceover and I indeed have coffee, so I should be a bit more energetic. I thought we'd start with an unboxing because a lot of people like to see what they would receive in the mail. So I'll read out some of the more notable specs on the back. We've got 1.6 meter cable length, Type-C interface, 87 key layout with PBT die subbed keycaps, N-key rollover, and programmable hardware with macro capability. So after removing the sleeve, you're just presented with AKKO's plain black box with their logo in the middle. I'm pretty sure they reuse this for all their products. Enough about the plain box it comes in anyway, let's just open it. The first thing you're presented with seems to be a dust cover for the keyboard. I'm not sure how much you'd use this, but it's nice to have. And of course the keyboard itself, but we'll save that for a later part in the video. Next is the user manual. Now I'm not going to bore you with reading through this all the way, but there is an English language variant in there. And I did notice at the back that there's also a 1-year warranty provided as well from AKKO themselves. And then the first out of two little boxes at the back, one of them contains the novelty keycaps that come in purple and blue. And then in the final box you'll find a really nice premium colour-coded USB-C cable with gold-plated ends. Now the USB-C end is a bit strange, but we'll show you why later. Gone over that in a bit more detail than we probably should have. I wanted to show you the keycaps. I think this is a really cool addition and you get quite a lot, so there's a fair bit of customization available. Oh, and I almost forgot the charming pink kitty keycap puller that comes included. And then there's the keyboard itself. Part of me says it belongs in my grandparents' house and the other part of me really likes it. But jokes aside, this would be perfect for any minimalist or retro setup. The different shades of grey set it off really nicely and stop it from looking too samey, and it has a very subtle AKKO logo on the front. Turning it over, you can see that it's quite a chunky keyboard and it has a raceway for the cable to put out to the left, to the right, or run down the middle as well. And I'm not sure what this means, but touch the fashion? You can see this one in particular houses AKKO's pink mechanical switches. The included keycaps set it off really nicely, allowing you to switch from blue to purple to what the box suggested as a mixture of both, which I quite like actually. So the first thing I noticed about the keyboard is how far down the USB Type-C connector is, but this does provide a lot of support and allows you to run the cable to the left, right if you want it on an angle or just simply out that side, or you can run it straight down the middle as well. Something I really like about this keyboard and have been missing on the other ones is the adjustable typing feet. You can have them at full height like this, which is pretty handy if you don't like a wrist rest, or they adjust to a medium height when the smaller feet come out. I can see this being most people's preferred typing angle, or you can fold them away completely and have it flat. And here's a closer look at the feet. As you can see, they both have small rubber grips on the bottom. Let's move on to switches. These are AKKO's own linear pinks. 45 grams actuation, 1.5 to 2.4mm pre-travel, and a 4mm total. Very similar to Gateron Reds. And if you don't know what that feels like, just imagine smooth and light press with no bump. And for those of you that have tried different switches, I prefer them to a Gateron Red, but not as much as a Gateron Ink Black. Now here's my main issue with this keyboard, and it's the stabilizers. They're very rattly and quite frankly a little annoying. When compared to something of the same price as this, it does let me down a little. However, one redeeming factor is the keycaps. They're PBT, they seem to be quite good quality, and they're a pleasure to type on. Here's a comparison between the AKKO keycap on the top and a Magic Force Smart 68 keycap on the bottom. The Smart 68 I believe to be a little bit better. The only three lights on the keyboard are to indicate caps lock, scroll lock, and Windows key lock. Because of course, please remember that this is indeed a non-backlit keyboard. The rubber feet on the bottom provide fully ample grip for whether it's on a hard surface or a mouse mat, as shown here. And if you're an angry gamer and just for testing's sake, I decided to give it a bend as well to see if I could try and break it. I put quite a lot of force into this regardless of me reaching around the camera, and it didn't seem to flex much at all. So be assured that if you are indeed on the angrier side, I don't really think you could break it all that easily. So we're going to do a few typing tests, one on the mouse mat, one off, and then run through and test out the stabilizers as well. So I've been using this thing now for 3+ days. Let me give you my final thoughts. I've been using it for quite a lot of video editing, essay writing and gaming. Now I can't lie, I do really miss the Keymove SnowFox 61, but that's a pretty unfair comparison. Do I recommend this keyboard? Well, it does have some slight flaws. The stabilizers being the main one, and I think you'd have quite an issue putting custom cables in it as well, just because of the strange well the USB-C port's in. But in comparison to other TKLs at this price point, like the Womia K87 or better known as Gamma Key now, I think I'd go with the AKKO. I'd be buying this for a number of reasons. One, because I way prefer it aesthetically. I think the K87's never mind. And two, it has a lot nicer typing angles as well. In terms of typing experience, the switches are surprisingly good. I prefer them to cherry reds, but they're not quite as smooth as Gateron Ink blacks. If I had under £70 to buy a TKL, I'd definitely be looking at this keyboard. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'll try my best to answer them as soon as possible. If you follow my Instagram and TikTok, I'll see you there. If not, I'll see you in the next one.